So, the quote of the day is simplify the task. Continually look for faster, better, easier ways to get the job done. And that's from Tracy. And this is something that I am constantly doing, particularly at work. But I've been trying to figure out ways to apply it to like regular daily adult life because I never want to deal with stuff. I deal with stuff because it needs to be dealt with, not because I'm like, yeah. Some people are like really into maintaining their laundry or maintaining their kitchen or doing their gardening or whatever their things are. Like those are things they excel at or are inclined to do or enjoy. Like they get a great deal of enjoyment out of it. And I'm always like, ugh, I don't want to deal with that stuff. So I'm always trying to figure out ways to simplify those tasks, and it's been something I've been practicing over the last couple of years because it needs to get done, and I need to not have it be this unpleasant, burdensome, heavy weight that I carry around with me. So I get, motivated to try a new technique or a new thing, and then I'm like, okay, and then I start to incorporate it. I've been doing that successfully since I've been like, okay, we really need to like figure this out because I am tired of feeling overwhelmed and frustrated and angry about XYZ things that aren't getting dealt with correctly or efficiently or regularly or, whatever the case may be. So that's why I've been doing a lot of things related to smaller steps and letting myself rest when I need to rest so that when I can apply myself to the things that need to get done that I don't want to do, I will feel like I have more energy because I haven't been just doom spiraling and thinking about them obsessively in a negative way. So, I don't know. Let's see. Can we even see behind me? Probably not because I've changed my camera angle, but maybe a little bit. So where's my hand? Yeah, there. Okay, so there's my hand. Hello. Hello. So in this corner behind me, which you can't see because I've changed my camera angle, there have been boxes of cables and computer parts and recycling and things that just need to get dealt with. Now, when we do like some computer upgrades or reorganization of cables or reassessing of all of that stuff, it's hard to maintain energy levels enough to deal with all the new things and then also process how to deal with the aftermath, as it were. And part of that is because we just don't have systems in place that manage all of that stuff. We have tried multiple systems to how to organize our cables, how to be able to find things when we need them, that kind of stuff. And since computer stuff is not my forte, it's not like I have a paperwork filing system. I designed it, I maintain it, I'm the one that does it. So I'm very comfortable with it. But like computer stuff is my husband's thing. And while he likes to organize things upon occasion, he is not the kind of person that's just going to sit down for 8 hours and organize all of the parts. So I kind of have to push that direction, but I also don't feel comfortable initiating it. So it's like, okay, we have to do this. Okay, how am I going to get him to like focus on this? Because he's got his own, like he's got the kitchen to maintain, and he's got, he takes care of the kids during the work week and stuff, and he works too, but like he's cooking and doing all of that stuff, meal planning, which is exhaustive and annoying in its own right. So getting that corner dealt with, where's my hand? I keep not knowing where I am. Has been on my to-do list for several months now. And there's a little like rolly cart thing with drawers in it that's over there that I've been like trying to keep organized and trying to reorganize and trying to figure out how to deal with it. I now have a plan, but I've been dreading that corner for months. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start pulling like 2 cables out. We're going to label them and we're going to store them. And as soon as we get through all the stuff, then we can figure out exactly like what kind of storage solutions we'll need to maintain that organization. I've seen lots of people talk about organizing cables and organizing chargers and organizing all that stuff. And I'm like, but usually it comes with like, and I bought all of this stuff to do that. And I'm like, well, I don't really have the budget to do that. So instead of like a fancy designed to store that kind of stuff solution, I was like, I could take the concepts. I've seen several, and I've tried a few, but I saw a lady organize all of her charging cables in these little pouches that she purchased. And I'm like, I bet I could do that with like, you know, like the disposable food baggies, like sandwich, quart, gallon baggies, and some masking tape. So what I ideally would like to do is I would like to find out what a cable is, label the bag it goes in, and then put some masking tape and write what kind of cable it is, because it's with all the different charging cables and power cables and connecting cables and all of that stuff, it's easy to go, I don't remember what cable that is, especially when I'm not the tech, like the hardware tech savvy person. I don't remember all of that crap. And my husband will sometimes sit there and go, I think this is what this is. So my goal is to get everything labeled. And I knew it was going to take some doing to get us to coordinate on the effort, because he has to help me identify the cables, and then I have to like label and store them. Fine. So last night I was like, I'm going to take out 2 cables. I'm going to get them to identify. I'm going to label them, and I'm going to put them in this thing, because I bought this thing to help us manage and store cables. And also the goal is to eventually put some of our lesser used consoles in here. My kids are really into retro consoles, so we have several consoles in the house. And I'm like, okay, we'll get like my aunt ended up getting rid of a little wall mounted TV, which is above this cabinet. I don't know. See it up there. So now we have a TV in here, and theoretically we could hook up a console or two, or have consoles in here. And the little secretary top will flip down. We could put a console either on top. It could get stored underneath and then get moved up to the top, or whatever. And then controllers and stuff can live in there, but also other cables and batteries and other things. So I was like, okay, I'll get out like a couple cables. I'll get them labeled. I'll put them in the drawers. And then as we make our way through it, we'll start seeing like, we have 1 million of this type of cable and like 2 of this type of cable. And then I'll know how I need to organize them. So I started doing that last night. And then I had him help me label like a couple things. And then I was like, you know what I could do? Is I could just pull all the cables out, bag them, and store them, and then we can start labeling and sorting. And then this corner behind me can get cleared. And when I realized I could do that, I was just like, if I take like 30 minutes, I could clear these 3 boxes, and all I have left is the little cart with the rolly cart with drawers. So now that corner is almost completely clear. Now, some of those boxes were in case we needed to return recently purchased computer parts, but we're now outside of the return period, so I didn't need to save them anymore. And then there were some other things that had just gotten chucked into a box of recycled paperwork that, you know, my husband just needed it out of his way as he was trying to actually physically rebuild the computers. And so he just needed it away from him, so he was just chucking random crap in there. So I was able to pull everything out of there, evaluate it, pull out all the trash and recycling, bag up all of the cables, sort a little bit of like, you know, into kind of size groups, and then remove the 3 boxes that have just been sitting over there. Well, actually there were 3 boxes of like stuff that needed to be sorted, and then a couple boxes that were just recycling things, because they were the boxes that we got some newer monitors. We didn't get like crazy expensive ones because that's not in our budget, but we needed like some better monitors, so we got a couple of nicer but cheap, because technology is crazy how it can be super expensive and then drop in price rapidly as new stuff comes out. So I was like, ooh, these are really fancy monitors for, I don't remember, like 50, 60 bucks. So it was like, ooh, you know, it's not $500 to buy ourselves some updated, you know, non-hand-me-down monitors. One of my monitors died, and then he had one that was had been handed down, I don't remember how long ago. So anyway, it was nice to get to splurge on that kind of stuff. So we still had the boxes for those, so those needed to be recycled. And I had a keyboard that died, and I needed to replace that, so there was an empty keyboard box. I mean, there was just stuff that needed to be dealt with, but it felt bigger than I wanted to deal with most of the time, and I knew I needed input. But when I was like, can I just do part of the task myself without having to sit there and get annoyed that he's, doing something else or cooking or whatever? I'm like, this is the time I feel motivated. No, I can wait, and then I can have it be neater while I'm still kind of working through that part of the process with him. So simplify. What can I attack? What do I have the bandwidth for? How can I make a major shift without it feeling super overwhelming? And the result is that corner is not a disaster anymore. Because every time I see it in any of my content, I'm like, that looks like trash back there. And some of it was, because it was just packaging from, new memory sticks and upgraded monitors and a keyboard, just get it out of there. And it felt surprisingly easy once I actually broke the process down into smaller component pieces. So break it down, make it small. What do you have the bandwidth for right now? You might surprise yourself with how much you're able to get done, even if it's not the whole project. That's my recommendation. Thanks for dropping in. If you want to hang out, I stream live on Twitch and YouTube Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. I'll see you next time.